Growing up, we played two sports, cricket or soccer. Well, you guys call it soccer, we call it football. It was like a culture shock, because when we came here, we had to start over again and learn how to speak different way, because we speak patois in Jamaica. But coming here, we had to speak proper English. So that was hard for me, and the schooling was hard for me, so I had to adjust overnight. My dad was a single father, so he didn't have time to bring me to practice and do all this extra things. So I ended up stopping playing, and I ended up working. And me working at 16 made me mature faster and grow faster and helping around the house and helping him. My aspirations coming out of high school was to do business, get my degree in business administration. Sort of like following my mother, because she was a business person. So that was what I was getting into. And I got into that, and that's not a field I went in because it was boring to me. I ended up in law enforcement as a correctional officer. It was fun, but it wasn't for me to stay a long period of time. It drains you because you imagine you going to a jail every day and seeing people as murderers, rapists, and I end up drinking every day just to keep myself calm. There was a mutual friend of ours. He came to me and said, "Hey, this girl want to talk to you."
My husband is Jamaican. They had a nickname for him. He called him Dread. And so he said, "Listen, Dread wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Talk to me about what?"
So, we ended up exchanging numbers, and we went on a date the next day.
And over dinner, we're talking, and he says to me, "So what made you tell, our mutual friend that, you wanted to talk to me?" And I was like, "Wait a minute. I never in my life told him that I wanted to talk to you. As a matter of fact, he told me you were interested in me."
So we ended up calling our friend, the mutual friend, on speakerphone.
He says, "So are you guys enjoying the date?" He said, "Yeah." He hung up the phone. We have been together ever since.
Well, we ended up dating for a while, and we had our son, and we got married. And we got married, a house, a career. Everything was going good, and up until 2012.
So my husband was at work that day.
And I was working in the intake where new inmates come in. And I was searching the inmates, and I went in his pocket and I took out some money.
And he says to me, "I just stuck my hand in the pocket of an inmate and I couldn't feel my hand." And so I Googled everything. I was Googling, what does numbness of the arm mean? And so I tell him, like I'm a physician, "You probably having a stroke, you need to come home now." Him being hard-headed and stubborn, he says, "Well, my shift is almost over with. I'll finish my shift and then I'll go to the hospital."
They did a lot of tests. They couldn't find nothing. So everyone was saying, "He's fine, he can go home." So my wife said, "No, something is wrong. He's not leaving until you tell me what's wrong with him."
And he proceeds to try to walk. And at this time, my husband's right side is numb, but he's dragging his left leg. And so at this moment, the doctor says, "I need to get your insurance to authorize an MRI."
The doctor came in the room, and she said to me, "You have multiple sclerosis." So, my wife was with me, so, my wife, she said, "Okay, what antibiotics he has to take?" And the doctor looked at her, and she said it was no cure for it.
And when they said there was no cure for it, it was like somebody reached into my soul and snatched it out. Because you're telling me my husband is going to get worse. Like, I read what MS was. It progressively gets worse. There's no coming back from it. The doctors are saying that he may never walk again. My husband was in the hospital for 2 weeks. And in that 2-week period of time, he had started to, his symptoms started to worsen to where he couldn't feel anything from his waist down. As a matter of fact, when he got discharged from the hospital, he was in a wheelchair for 8 months. I was his sole provider. I was his sole caretaker.
So my son, he was about 2. So, he was walking. So he came in front of me one day and raised his hand up, like, pick me up. And I looked at him and I couldn't. And I just broke down and cried. Because it was, you can't even pick up your child. And you can't even help your wife and do the daily things that you're normally doing. And working in corrections, that changed also. I told my wife at the time that we could get a divorce. I told her she could leave. Because she was 32 and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go out in the sun, go and do normal stuff with her.
It bothered me because I got married for sickness and health, not just for health. And so he pushed and I pushed back harder.
You're looking at your wife and you can't even touch her. You can't even do, not even in a sexual way, but just touch her and hold her because you were in so much pain. And you can't even walk outside if she wants to go for a walk. You can't even walk down the street. You would have to ask her to help you take a shower, take a bath, brush your teeth, to help you put on your clothes, put on your shoes, tie your shoes. Normal things like that I couldn't do. Because I was in so much pain, I used to come by the Percocet with Tramadol. Percocet is 325 milligrams. I would take that first, and then I would wait like 5 minutes because I was still in pain. And then I would go and get a Tramadol. That's also a narcotic. That's 50 milligrams.
Some of the things that we argued the most about, my husband is Jamaican, and he ate every part of the pig, the cow, the goat. And so it was like something in me. It was nobody but God. It really urged me to start to really read and research on all the immune diseases, and putting certain foods in our body causes another chemical reaction in our body. And so my whole thing was trying to teach him how to eat properly. So unteaching him the bad stuff and then reteaching him the good stuff.
So we started out juicing at first. I stopped eating meat and we started juicing like fruits, vegetables, and things of that nature.
And I brought him a juice that had kale, leeks, spinach, celery, a lot of good greens. And he told me he wasn't going to drink it. I said, let me tell you something. You're either going to drink this or I'm going to pack my bags and you can call your mother and tell her to come into the hospital and stay here with you.
That worked, and that got me back up from my wheelchair. So it got me to my walker. I had a walker and I was still on the walker. And I started changing my eating habits and exercising, and after that it was on my cane. I was walking with a cane. I still couldn't go outside. That was still affecting me, and I still didn't have, I had energy, but it would burn up fast. So, life started coming back normal.
August 2016, a friend of mine, Atara Dallas, who is also a correction officer, she calls me and she says, there's some products that I have just recently been introduced to and I would like for you to take a look at it.
I drink this tea every morning, and at night I take these capsules twice a day. It's natural, holistic healing, and this has worked.
I had to show a little tough love again, and I made the tea and I said, here, drink it. He was like, oh, it's not bad. He took 2 turmeric and 2 ginger with the tea. Fast forward to 3 weeks later, my husband, not even 3 weeks, 2 weeks later, my husband said to me, I feel different in my body. I can't even explain it.
Life has changed for the better, because now I could go in the sun, I could do stuff with my wife, I have more energy, and I could just enjoy life better.
And so that's what sparked this whole movement. You know, health is wealth. Because previously we both working in corrections, we made very good money. We grossed over $100,000 a year. And for what we lived at, that was very good money. And so we had all the money, but we had poor health. Your wealth is your health. And that sparked something even in me. Because now, as of January coming 2017, I'll be actually a certified life coach in health and wellness. And my thing is to get the information out for free to the masses. When a doctor said there's no cure, I said that's a lie. My husband has a disease, or was diagnosed rather with a disease that they said there was no cure for. But look at him now.
My name is Calesta Thompson, and I'm an MS survivor. Don't give up on life. I know it's hard because of the pain and what we go through, but you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mind. You have to put your faith first and believe in God.